Greetings, family. Welcome to the Sister Shanice Show. We are live. Absolutely fantastic, blacktastic to be with you. As you can see, we've got Brother Edison in the house. And
Hi,
you'll be
everyone.
delighted to know we've also got Brother Jammers backstage as well. So looking forward to a really interesting show. You know it's going to be an exciting one with Brother Edison. Brother Edison, how are you? How have you been doing?
Very, very good. Excited about today. I've decided because I have Jammers has got the first hour and I've got a second hour, so I'm gonna do something I haven't done, the spiritual side of language. So
Oh,
we're gonna go into how the mind uses language and all the different types of language we use in different organs and things like that. So it's gonna go quite I don't know, deep as far as I'm concerned. But we're gonna
it
go
seems.
further than something I would normally reserve for the class or for my membership zone, but I'll explain it all because we all have different spiritual sides to everything. So this is just the spiritual side of language, but it does explain what takes place inside your mind, what you see inside your mind, and literally how you control yourself in your mind once you understand your language. So yes, it's all
Oh,
fun.
wow, that sounds phenomenal. You're going inside our mind tonight to help us to see our mind and how we can then control our mind. Oh,
Yes,
wow, that sounds phenomenal. You
excellent.
know what? I'm just posting as we speak to let people know that we are live and direct to the world. As I do that, Brother Edison, I wonder if you could just introduce yourself to our audience today.
No problem. All right, my name is Edison Ekbanji. As you can see, I'm the creator or joint creator of a company called Ancestral Essence. What we do is really just convert the way in which everyone sees African spirituality and put it in a format that explains the science and the beauty of how we have the oldest religion and the oldest understanding, or forgive me, to say religion is really being abusive. We have the oldest understanding of how reality takes place. So we wanted to bring that to everyone based on our journeys into our ancestors and ancestral worlds and different dimensions where again we make all what seems possible or impossible possible for you to understand. We've been doing it for over 10 years now, classes, courses, so many different things. And we always look forward to an opportunity to shine a light on a different side of spirituality that isn't about praying or isn't about begging or isn't about hoping, but how your thoughts move within your mind and how you enable yourself to see in this reality. So, yeah, in a nutshell.
Oh, that sounds absolutely phenomenal. And you know, we were touching on the ancestors earlier today on my
Excellent.
radio show with Teacher Mitri. And for those of you who don't know, you can go to my other channel, which is African World Affairs on YouTube, because we were running a series with Teacher Mitri. And he was on my radio show earlier today, Brother Edison, actually, and he touched on the ancestors.
Excellent.
He said that
Excellent.
ancestors, you know, was in there with our five African truths. Quite often, he said, you know, we talk about, you know, we're all very familiar with like the European and their truth, you know, and their version of the world, their paradigm. But what about our truth, the African truth? So he went back as well. And our truths, he said, was the creator,
Yep.
our ancestors,
Mm.
Ma'at, nature, and our ancestors. Those were our five truths. And with our ancestors, he said quite often, I know you don't look at our ancestors in this way, but he said most of us look at our ancestors as those who were just a past,
Mm.
just part of their lives. Our ancestors are past, present, and future, you know,
100%.
and
100%.
yeah, so I know that yeah, we're going to be going deeper into that today, which is going to be really interesting. So, give everyone the web address for Ancestral Essence,
Sure.
please, that you just mentioned.
Yeah, our web address is www.simply, well, ancestralessence.com. You can go there, you can see the different courses we do, the blogs that we have, the membership zone that we have, where today's really going to be a class from there, which I haven't done yet, but it's something that I propose to do. And yes, we do counseling, we do readings to help you actually connect to your own ancestors, not in the way where we're saying it's theoretical, an idea. Have you actually speak to them within your mind as you're communicating, as I'm communicating with you now? We've developed ways in which to do these techniques for you to speak, have baths, we sell oils, we do all kind of things, but we really are, how do you say, not at the praying side of the actual side. The whole object of it is to empower you to be your very best version.
Wow. And you've just reinforced for us how it is that our ancestors are present, ever present, not just past, but present. They're present because we can communicate with them right now if we know how. And so they are very much present if
Very
we can
much.
communicate with them. And if we're communicating with them about our future, you know, they are going to be in the future with us as well. And so they are future as well. So look, it's just wrapped up within like the first segment of the show. Now, I'm sure the family come through the door. I'm just posting, family, as you come through the door, please do let us know in the chat that you are in the house, okay? And let us know where in the world you're actually viewing us from. Because, you know, I want to give you a shout out. I want to know, you know, the sort of global span, the geographical range that we have today on our show. We know we have family who tend to tune into these programs from north, east, south, or west around the globe. So let us know where in the globe you are viewing us from. And I've sent you the link as well, Brother Edison.
I
And I've
have. I've
sent
just
it to
sent it
Brother
out as well.
Javis.
I've just sent it. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. And so you can let people know the link. With Zoom, we don't get the link until we actually go live. And as you can see, we've got Brother Jammers in the house. Welcome, Brother Jammers.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Thanks for having me here as well. Edison, good to see you.
Good to see you.
In
Good to
another
see.
part of my building, as you can see, same coloration.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's
You'll have
a
to
fantastic place. Fantastic
You'll have
place.
to
It is
excuse
our
who comes in.
pleasure.
As you can see, I'm by the beach, so I can't, you know, stop who will pass through here, you know. So anyway, good to see you on the platform once again.
You're by the beach. How wonderful. It's all right for some, isn't it, family? Yes, enjoy. Make the most of it, okay? This is what we've got to do, make the most of every day because, wow, we just don't know what tomorrow may bring. And so, yeah, family, please do make the most of today and every day. Tomorrow's just not guaranteed. Brother Jammers, as always, an absolute privilege and honor to have you in the house. Backed by popular demand, I must say. Please rise up the audience and your fans in the house.
No, I'd like to rise up everybody who's been supporting me and who's asked me to come on the platform, especially yourself, Sister Shalita, as well, and you, Edison. My colleague in in this
Partner in crime.
partner in crime.
Go ahead.
So I'd like to thank everybody who's supporting me. I wish I could do more for the community, but I know, and plus there's a big demand for my book. So this is really what needs to come out. So at the end, I'll give you anybody's interested in my book, give my email address and my phone number to contact me. But I'd like to thank each and every one of you for supporting that, especially you, Sister Denise, for maintaining this platform for us.
Oh, you know what? I'm duty bound. It's a calling. And it's just providing this floor for the greats like yourself, Brother Edison, and the many others, who just use the platform to communicate with our wonderful, wonderful audience. That's what it's about. I'm just, just providing that space. And Brother Jammers, I know that you're busy tonight, and so you're only going to be with us for the first hour. So I don't really want to take up too much of your time. So I'm going to stop posting, and I'm going to go to the chat and just, welcome the audience, and then we're going to go straight into your presentation. In the meantime, please introduce yourself, Brother Jammers.
Firstly, I'd like to say that I'm here by the grace of some of our recent ancestors, and also Brother Doug, Edison, Brother Dougie. So I have to mention Brother Dougie because he was the one who kind of gave us the platform to find our voice, and trained us in the long hours of speaking, which we can now do. Also, Errol Hines, I have to mention as well, one of the greatest speakers I had the privilege to be amongst, who was part of the Speakers Club. And also I have to mention Decca. I know Edison, you like to endorse the great influence that she had. Also Lady Leo, have to mention Lady Leo as well, and Michael Charles as well, who's part of the Speaker Club, and Murnay as well, and there's many others. So by their grace, I'm thankful that we can do this presentation. I'm a Jammers, not everyone knows me as Jammers, and what it is, my mission now is just to show, and Edison's mission, that we do have ancestors, and the ancestors are real. And all I want to put across to the people here is to show some small grain that some of the information that we're coming with, you can't find it anywhere. And it's not in the universities. So where is it coming from? So basically, I'm not taking no credit for what's coming out of my mouthpiece. I'm just grateful that, like I used to have a real interest in a comic book, I'm anxious that the ancestors have recognized that and made me my own comic book hero. So I'd like to thank you for that. And I've been given like the gift of looking at language in a different way and deciphering the language. And then Edison takes it to the next level, which brings in the spiritual side of it. Boom. Okay.
Phenomenal team they are too. And to those of you in the house, welcome. I can see we got Sister Afrijamo in the house watching us from Ghana. Welcome, sis. As always, a pleasure to have you in the house. Mondele in the house. Yenge Pimpa Kiambote. Brother Niusi, good to have you in the house. And he's picking up the brothers and sisters from around the world. He is the Congo leopard. Wow, major developments happening right now in DRC Congo, I see. We're going to have to home in on that. Sister Afrijamo, yeah, please do encourage people to give us a thumbs up and a like as they come through the house as well. We've got Stephen in the house. Where are you watching us from, Brother Stephen? Let us know. Oh, he says he's the Bajan King. Is he watching us all the way from Barbados? Hey, we got Barbados in the house. Oh, that would be awesome. Rise up, Mahogany in the house as well. SA in the house as well. SA, what's your first name, S? Do let us know. S. Smith is in the house. Let us know. Brother Icon Bay is in the house, watching us all the way from Jamdown, Jamaica. Privileged to have you in the house, beloved. Great. He says, peace and value to the Asian, Egyptian, African nation. Rise up, Sister Shanice, Brother Jammers, and the panel guests. We value you too. We value you too, beloved. Oh, yeah, we got the family coming in the house. Hey, we got a viewer all the way watching us from Jamaica, from Canada. Oh, Ambush is in the house. Rise up, Ambush, all the way from Canada. We got Diosa in the house as well from Chicago. Welcome each and every one of you. It's a privilege. Now, Brother Jammers, he's got a busy night tonight. So without further ado, Brother Jammers, please do hit the screen share button and go ahead and start to share the screen and go into your presentation. We don't want to take up any more of your time. Family, as you come through the door, please remember to give us a thumbs up.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. And also I'd like to mention, of course, Galaxy, the platform and Conscious that has given me also the platform to put forward this information, this formation of things. Cool.
Absolutely. Big up the big G, Galaxy Alfiwi, the only de-brainwashing station, the station that both Jammers and I happen to be presenters on. We're privileged. Okay, we can see we've got Brother Jammers' presentation. Over to you, Brother Jammers.
Right, so we're going to touch on spiritual etymology. I'll spell spiritual wrong, so that's a fantastic start. I think I spelled it wrong. But so I'm going to touch on etymology, and Edison will bring down the spirituality. And we're talking about language and its psychological effects and the science of language. There's a warning as well. Some of what you hear is coming from the source. So I know some people of academia might be upset by some references we can't really bring forth because the references are not available on this planet Earth, So just to get some of it. And also we want, as Edison taught me as well showed me, not taught, we don't give with tautology,
Don't teach, we just remind.
that come with an open mind and an open hand, because if your hand is full, then you can't open your hand to take any more information, and come with an open mind, because you might find something that you might add to what you have already. So that's all that we require from you. And but again, we'd like to thank you for your listening there. So this premise is what I'm giving you, is that if you notice, every species on the planet doesn't have a book to guide it what it needs to do. The basic animals, which are supposed to be so simple, know how to feed, clothe, and shelter themselves. So my premise is that nature, and as I said, we used to do a thing called medu nature, which I translate into the English language as me do nature. Yeah. So nature is our traffic light. So basically, nature, and going by the creed of conduct of nature, it gives light to everyone, it gives water to everyone, it gives earth and land to everyone, it gives vibration of life to everyone, regardless of race, creed, ideology, philosophy, ethics, or character. This is what nature does, and no matter what language you choose to call it, it doesn't alter what the nature is, and my premise is that we all want the same things, but unfortunately, because we use a different sound, we fight over the sounds that we use. So, okay, so let's start with an example of what I mean in relation to nature. So this is what nature might look like, especially where I am at the moment, and Sister Shanice, in the motherland. Sorry, Edison.
I know,
I know you.
I know.
Yeah. So you see, nature has, as I was saying, this is how nature is a traffic light. As you can see, there's a sun bringing fire. You can see the air, you can see the water, and you can see the land. So how does it relate to us? How are we related to this? Boom. So nature is a traffic light, once again, gives water to everyone, air, gives vibration of life. No matter what language, you can see, taste, touch it. So let's have a look. Once again, fire, air, water, earth. And isn't it? Chancellor Williams, in his book, he had written the book, The Destruction of Black Civilization. People need to read Chancellor Williams' The Rebirth of African Civilization. In that book, Chancellor Williams states that the European way of education is not based on application. Give you the theoretical breakdown of what justice is, on how to be just, but it doesn't translate into application. So most of the things that relate to human nature are only ideologies. They're not application or sciences. Right. So I'm going to show you in relation to our nature how this is put forward to us. So now we've got two people in relation to the environment behind them. How does that relate to nature, and how does that relate to your relationship? Boom. What is the significance? What is the connection? Not taught in any books. Eyes, nose, mouth, hands. Look at the position of the eyes, nose, mouth, hands in relation to nature, which is behind them. Look at the positioning and look at the attachment. All right, let's go into it again. Then they tell you sight, smell, touch, and that's all they give you. So once again, they'll give you eyes, nose, mouth. They'll give you sight, touch, smell, but they won't apply it to actual nature and actual your functionality. How does it relate to nature and how you access nature, your nature? All right, let's have a look. Nature, as we said earlier, is fire, air, water, earth. That's the consistency of it. How does that relate to you? Now look at that your eyes see via the fire of the sun. Your nose smells by the air. And look at the positioning of the fire, the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Your mouth tastes from the water. Your hands touch, and your body touches everything from the earth. So I look at the design of nature, and look at the design of the face. Your eyes are the height point where the sun is. Your nose just comes under the sun, is where the air is. Underneath the air is where the water is. That's where your mouth is positioned. And you touch most things with your lower limbs, where the earth is. So your design is exactly in accordance with nature. Cool. All right. Unfortunately, because it's near Valentine's Day, typically the man is interrupted to spoil the presentation. Because I was trying to show you the science of nature, but this man has come now and ruined my presentation because now he's not looking at the science, he's found an attraction to the woman across. So this is how, let me see how nature works now. So now he's even raising it. So basically, through the nature, he's seen the light, the fire is giving him the sight to see the woman. He can smell her perfume. His mouth starts watering, and now he wants to touch. He can feel a vibration. So this is how nature is working on this man who's interrupted the presentation. The woman's asking, what is this guy doing? And depending on the nature, because your nature now, you have the power to ignite her, so she can see something that ignites her, which is like nature. You can intensify her breathing, by energizing her. She might even, her lips, now she might even start licking her lips, because of the interest. And you can generate your feelings towards her because of your power of nature. Edison will break it down that you have an electromagnetic power. You can either electrify the woman and magnetize the woman, or you can give. So let's see what this man's going to do, because I don't know if he's got this full knowledge because he wasn't listening. He was just looking at the woman. So this is, once again, depending on what comes out of this woman's mouth, it's going to cause passion, make hot. The air she might feel faint. She might even lick her lips with her, or she might have feeling, depending what the man come out of his mouth. Right, and look at the word mouth. Inside the word mouth, you can see the word out. So hidden in the word mouth is what the mouth does. It's written in there. That is the formula. It says, hi, beautiful. You might just have found yourself the man you've been looking for. Today might be your lucky day. So the man's used words not connecting with nature of this woman. He's been listening to my presentation. So I don't think he had the effect, because he says, look at the state of you. What makes you think I'll fall for a man like you? How dare you? And she shouted it. Look at the word shout. Inside the word of the formula shout is the word out. So he did not ignite her. He made her fiery, too hot. He gave her heavy breathing in the room. She wants to even spit at him now from the water. And she has no feelings towards it. So it did not ignite her nature. And of course, this shocked what happened to him. But he still tried to respond. Girl, there's no need for the attitude. You just lost yourself the chance to date with a man like me. I'm the type of man women only dream about, of application, because he didn't listen to the presentation. And this is why the relationships, if you're just trying to use words and not using the science, especially what Edison's going to break down, this is what the effect's going to have. And I've got a beef with the women, because I've been going around with this presentation, and they say that the guy's ugly. They're not even giving him the man a chance. But the women complain that the men are only looking at them for their body. But when they see a beautiful man like this, they say the man's ugly. They don't even give the man a chance. They're not looking at the nature. But anyway, so let's move on. So the air part of our dynamics. So the first four dynamics of the earth is the physical side, but air, once again, air, fire, water. We use our brain as a comparison to calculate what we're smelling, what we're seeing, what we're tasting, what we're feeling. So their four elements of our nature work with our memory. So our memory works with that. The air now has a different dynamic to that part. The air relates to the tones, vibration. We get power from tones, vibration, and frequencies. And from that power, we generate a sound of notes, melody, and harmony. And from that, feeling, we get feeling, rhythm, calculation, and then we create words. So we've been given a doctrine of word, sound, power. But we, by just normal common sense, you can't make a word without having the sound behind the word, or without having the power behind the sound. And this is the dynamic that we have. And this is the dynamic of your nature. You have the ability to take a vibration. From that vibration, you can create an audio signal. And furthermore than that, you can actually make a mark in relation to that audio signal. Right. So that's the basics of the nature. And in relation to our nature now, if you look at the word here, inside the word here is the word ear. So everything you hear is with your ear, because your ear, instead of going to your brain, your ear goes directly to your heart. So heart. And if you look at the dynamics of the word earth, you'll see the word ear in the first 3 letters of the word earth. So that is the formula in relation to how your ear operates in relation to your connection with the earth. And then your heart beats to your organs, you know, and it's our job to be organized and to conduct ourselves in the right way through the vibrations that we receive. Another word for this is called telepathy, feeling over a distance, you know. So we were able to interpret the person's spirit by their vibration, not by the words that they use. The word was just used to carry messages across. But our original science is the science of knowing via vibration the person's giving off. This is how this is the doorway to who we really are, our real nature. And they've tricked us into focusing on the word, sound, power, focusing on the word, so they can hide their vibration and their spirit. Oops, let's move on. And just another significant part, if you look at the word heart, which is H-E-A-R-T, you take the H from the front of the word heart, you put it at the end, you see the word earth. Look at the word earth, E-A-R-T-H. You take the H from the end of the word earth, you put it at the front, you see the word heart. So by that formula, you can see everything we hear comes from the vibration related to the earth. You know, so we need to tune into ourselves, because most of us are running out of tune. Hence, what happened with that approach to the woman there. There's nothing about the nature of a woman, and just thought fancy words could get a result. Boom. Okay, so let's move on now. All of this is the significance of what generates our mind. All of these facilities generate the mind. And there's a word in that word mind that we don't take heed to, is the word mind. There's a significant action in relation to that if we bypass just the word. Mind means this: to take care, guard, caution, safety. No species of animal on the planet messes with another species' business. You won't see an antelope going to see, what are these lions doing? You won't see a mouse going to find out what the cats are doing. You know, you won't see the ants trying to crawl inside a bee's nest. Nature showed you're supposed to mind your own business, because of the reasons why I said earlier. Everything that you look at, you create fire. If fire can fire you up, you know, you create air to it. You know, you create energy towards it. Anything that you put your mind to, you waste time putting energy towards it if it doesn't go to your betterment. Another interesting word is the word war. The real meaning of the word war is safety. We've been tricked that it means aggression, but war really means safety. Look at the word beware. You see the word war. Look at the word aware. Aware is the word war. So to be at war means to be to make safety for yourself. You know, so this is where we are losing out, because we're not minding our own business. We're in everybody else's business, you know, and we're not taking guard of what goes into our mind, because this will probably break there a lot of whatever goes into your mind, you create an energy on it to make it your reality. That's why you have to mind what you're putting your mind to, because when you're in somebody else's business, then you're creating an energy for them. Let's move up a bit more. And this is as well, you better mind the pen as well. Mind that vehicle called the pen. Careful, because inside the pen, especially beware of the ink inside the pen, because the ink inside of the pen is what makes you think. You're running off a a device that someone else has created to generate your mind. Just by that. This is the magic wand. Look at the shape. This is the magic wand that controls your mind, controls your nature. The author who writes becomes your authority. I think I've written that wrong. Oh, the authority that writes the rituals. Look at the word rites. You see the word right in it. That you perform the rites and tie yourself to. The author, right, that you tie yourself to. Authority, that you've tied yourself to. The authority, yeah? Or the authority. So if somebody gives you writing and it's designed to take control over you. Right. The problem is, so nature, once again, nature is the source of origin on the physical plane. Nature is the source. And we used to follow what nature says. Man has come up now with stories to say that he was first. You know, he's in competition. Men are in competition, just like football, to prove that I was the first or their race was the first person to do something when nature was before everybody. You know, so how can you follow somebody who's come after what was first? That's like turning up to a cinema and it's halfway through the movie and following what's gone on from then. How can you follow someone who was not first? And usually it's a man who comes to prove his first by what? Making up his story. His story. And a story is a combination of facts and fiction. That's why it's called his story. A story made up by a man, not a reality, not a truth. And this is what you store in your memory bank, and it becomes your currency. Yeah, it becomes your currency. And it becomes the current that you see, which feeds your brain waves, which energizes your ideas and beliefs. Yeah, it's called a memory bank because that's where you store the information in. And what you store in a bank is called currency. Yeah, or current, or a current. You know, so that becomes the energy that you use in what you see everything with. Yeah, so that's why you have to mind what you put in there, because only what you put in there is what you're going to get out. If you put rotten eggs in your fridge, all you're going to get out of your fridge is rotten eggs, you know? So if you're not putting a quality check on what's coming into your head, then all you're going to put out is some malfunctioning information, which is designed to put you in a formation, just like a football team, where you have no ability to do something for yourself. So once again, words from this wand, the pen as the one generates words. And with the words, now you're putting all your energy. The words can fire you up. The words can make you feel faint or rage. You know, the words can make you sweat. Yeah, and the words can generate your feeling. The same thing with the images that they put out. You know, called Hollywood. You know, the images they put out as well takes your nature, takes your energy, fires you up. You look at people watching their favorite movie, you know, it's activating their nature, it's firing them up, you know, it's making them sweat, it's making them curse, it's generating their feelings, because this is what they have designed. They are masters at controlling the nature of things. Look how they can take a wild animal like a dog and make that dog dependent on their every move, because they know what we don't know is that we can put our energy into things. Look at when you see a coat that you like, it fire you up, you know, you might swoon, even you might salivate at the mouth, and you generate a feeling for that coat. You've taken that coat, you put it in your wardrobe. You have transferred your nature into a thing. This is what they know, and we don't. So now when you go to your wardrobe and you open that coat, you transfer your energy. That coat will now fire you up. It's like we can energize an object. Now that coat will fire you up. You might feel depressed one day. You look at that coat. The coat will return the energy that you put in it. It will fire you up. It make you your sense of smell would heighten up. Your imagination will fire up. You know, your salivate and your feelings will be generated. We don't realize that we put our energies into food. Look at an animal, a kitten, you put your energy in it. When you see that kitten or your pet, that energy comes back to you. So we have the ability to transfer energy into objects. So they've taken what they've done now, they've used a pen to take away our, to make us transfer energy into paper. So a paper, most of, especially when you go back to the ancestors, they did not need to read a book to know how to build a house, to get food, to provide safety or educate themselves. They did not need paper. And the years of looking at paper, to nature shows you how to eat, what to build. So this is wasting our ability. And now we are using our energy on paper. We're using our energy. The next trick of the magic wand is currency, which Edison gave down. They've used that pen to put a number on a piece of paper and energize you up now. You see a £50 note on the floor. You're fired up. Your breathing increases. Your feelings generated on a piece of paper called cash. And look at the word cash. It starts with the word C, and the next really is the word ash. Can't you see that it's ash? So the cheapest form is paper. They've used this magic wand to transfer your energy into things. So I can give you, I'll maybe go back to the gambling thing, but so this is how they've used this instrument to make you transfer your energy into things. And the next step to taking your mind is the science of dependency. I think I spelled that wrong. I spelled that wrong, but anyway, should have a D in there. Okay. Right. So the first thing I've got to do, because once again, the word mind means you've got to take care of things, your own things, because don't let your nature slip away. So the first thing I've got to do is to create you into, to take your energy away from you and get you to do what I do, is get you to accept something. Take something from me, which no species of animal, you won't see antelope taking food from a lion. You won't see a mouse taking food from a cat. You won't see a frog taking food from a leopard. The first thing I've got to do is give you something, hence churches and charity. Let me give you something. Once I've given you something, especially when I use the tactic of manners, being polite, and rhetoric, which is the science of persuasion. It's not, I need you to open your door for me. So I'm not going to go there aggressive or looking hostile. I need you to open your door of your fridge so I can put a rotten egg in there for you. So once you've accepted what I've done through my science of persuasion, nice manners, because I want to make you nice. Nice in its ancient way is stupid, so I need to stupefy you. Yeah. You'll appreciate the gift. Oh, wow, fantastic. Once you've accepted that gift, I've got you. Because the next time I come along, you're going to see me and your guard's going to be down. You're going to expect another gift. You're going to anticipate, whoa, something's coming one way and I give you another gift. Then once I've got your anticipation every time you see me, especially when like the people come on tourists and they're spending their money in, like, they go to Africa and they're spending their money. Now we expect it. We expect it. He came past the last 3 times and gave me something. He's supposed to be giving me something again now. And then after that, I'll give you more. Now you feel you're entitled to something. The one time I don't give it to you, how come you never give it to me? What's happened to, what's wrong with him? Now you feel entitled to what you're supposed to be getting. Once you're entitled, now you're dependent on it. Once I've got you to take, this is what all the charities do. They'll give them things to stop them develop, not give them the ability to develop it for themselves. Because they'll just give them to appreciate, to keep them in a perpetual state of dependency. Independency. So it's a strange word that they use when they say, I want to give you independency. That's a very strange word. They're not using the word self-sufficient. And in sometimes can be a negative, inexcusable, incapable. Yeah. So dependent means when you're stuck with what somebody else is giving you. So it's a very strange word that they use because none of them call themselves independent. So this is the science of how Our mind is entrapped in somebody else's ideals. And then the next science on this, especially with the images, is called egregor. And egregor, also spelled egregor from the French or from ancient Greek, is an esoteric, which is a secret concept, which makes something that's not physical, something that you can't see, or what somebody thinks. It makes basically, let me right. So basically, it's a secret idea. It's a secret concept that represents something that doesn't exist, you know, but I'm making a thought about it and getting you to put your thoughts and emotion towards it. So this is what Hollywood does. If you notice with Hollywood, everybody changes their name to create to create an entity. So Beyonce does it because she says Sasha. So what they do, they create an entity, and with that entity, they throw money at that entity, that put that entity in different positions to woo you, yeah, to woo you. So they'll create something that's going to take your nature away from you. So once again, so egregor is a secret concept which is on something that doesn't exist, or it's a thought form that people put together to create an entity that you put your nature towards. So all the TV movies, all these Marvel superheroes, you know, do not exist. That's why it's called acting, because these things do not exist, but the people's thoughts have put this together to entrap your nature, to fire you up, to make you sweat. And now that you become attacked, you've invested your nature into that. And because once again, we are people who put our nature into things and go to them things to get our nature back. That's how we operate. We put your nature into something, especially farmland, you put your nature into crops, the crops will give you something back. Our old system was bartering. I'll give you something and you give me something back. So they know our nature, they know that we put our energy into things. So now they've created the things for us to put our energy into. And this is how they've taken control of us, not minding our own business. And this is why we become addicted to concepts that don't exist, because they've made those concepts attractive to our nature, or use us to put our energy in them. You know, so for instance, I was saying gambling. Gambling is a concept, or the lottery is a concept that if you invest this paper into it with us, you have the potential for getting something magnificent back. So that's going to fire you up. You know, that's going to make your imagination go haywire. You'll salivate at the mouth, and it's going to generate feelings for this piece of paper, rather than spending the time to develop some crops or do some art forms. You are now energized by a piece of paper. So you put the paper in, it doesn't happen. Your energy's gone. The energy of your dream's gone. So now that piece of paper and that small money, could be £1, that's called traversity to you. Torment, sleepless nights. You might have an argument over a piece of paper. So now your nature is in. So when something's your nature, it's like you've produced a son or a daughter. You know, because you've created an entity, an egregor. You've created an egregor, and now you need to go back to get that energy back. You know, so that's why. So now you're going to go back now with that dream to try and get the energy back. And the more that you invest in it, the more you're entrapped, the more dependency you have. So this is the entrapment. I know it might have been a bit wishy-washy. I've explained, but I'm sure hopefully Edison can give it a bit more clarity. Would you like to come in here, Edison, actually?
Jammers, I was actually enjoying what you were doing there. You were covering a lot of ground. So
Okay.
yeah, because it was a surprise to me, it's absolutely great.
Okay, I'll go through because I know my time is limited, so I'll just
No,
carry on
so
and
go ahead. Yes.
you can pick up a bit more on this. Boom. Okay, let me see what's going on here because I'm not even sure. Okay, so they use this once again, especially Hollywood, to alter your perception of things, the way you see things. They're not showing you that you're linked with nature. They're giving you things to put your energy into to So you entrap your nature into their things. Look at the energy we put on sports, drama. You know, they create the arenas that we perform in, you know, so they create your perception. So what is this image? What do you see on this image? Edison, I'd like to, oh, Sister Shanice, actually, what do you see in front of you?
Take myself off you. I'm
Yeah.
seeing a lot of images there. I'm seeing an old woman and an old man, and within the face of the old woman and the old man, I'm seeing and the old man. I'm seeing someone with a big Mexican hat and a playing a guitar, sitting down playing a guitar, and then on the other side, on the old woman's face, there's a man with a big hat all rolled round, or a woman sitting there listening to the bloke playing the guitar. I think it's a fantastic. I'm seeing two images in one, and then in the head, I'm seeing, a woman coming through a door. On the man's head, there's a woman coming through the door at the back.
I didn't even see, I didn't see that one was, oh yeah, yeah, oh yes, right, okay, cool.
Like there's a castle up there as well, the top of a castle or the dome of some kind of building, and then yeah, back over to the woman. She's got blonde straight hair, hasn't she? And there's a jar that's it. It's a great, and then in the middle of them both, there looks as though there's some sort of cup that goes into a well or a waterfall between them.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see that before. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is
there's just so much going on there.
so this is the trick that they've played on our mind. You know, if somebody said they saw a woman, they'd be right. If somebody said they saw a jug, they'd be right. So we're battling over the concepts that other people have given to us, not knowing there's a bigger picture that everything's contained in. Yes. And this is the thing with words as well, how words have been, we've been tricked. Just because I use a word to describe something, you know, that doesn't make you right or wrong, because once again, nature shows that we all want the same things, but we've been tricked in battling over the images that somebody else has given us, you know? So what I like to say about this, I didn't, no, I didn't. Let me see if I've got anything else. Okay. Just, so what I'd like to say, I think I'll end this now because I've come up to the end of it, end it from now, from here. So what I like to say as well, to add to that, is that words, the way words operate, words basically, a word is a piano. A word is a piano. And depending on how good you play that piano, it shows you the mentality of the person who's playing the piano. Just because someone's a bad player of the piano doesn't make the piano a bad device. Yeah. And that's the trick, that we are babbling onto something that we say, because someone said a word and they put their trauma in that word, it's a bad word. See, this is how they've tricked us in what the science of words really is. A word is just once again, a word is, when it was originally designed, a word was a vehicle of deception. In relation, in accordance with our nature, a word was a device that you can get into what the person's spirit is about, what they are about, what they're feeling. It wasn't about the word. It was about, remember, a word is a note. A note is something that you play. And when you play something, depending on how well you can play the piano, or I know how well you can play, I know what you are, and I know what your mind is about. Because we don't know about or we've been mismanaging our power of feeling, especially feeling, because that goes to your heart. And that, as Edison said, causes your pain. Because of that, we mismanage, because you playing the piano with trauma, we feel traumatized, not realizing we are telepathically intercepting that person's years and years of torture and torment. Now we're walking around with trauma. Someone can give you a bad look, and now you're feeling the trauma that person's feeling. But because we don't realize that, without realize, we don't realize the lies without realize. That's why it's called real lies. Anyway, we are now walking around with that energy in us, you know. So that's basically the basics of it. And then the next aspects, well, I can't go into this time, is that your mind consists of 4 different brains, and they all work in a different correlation with each other. So you control one aspect of your brain with another aspect of your brain, but that's for another day, or Edison might go into it. So I hope that's been
4 brains. You got me on the four brains.
Yeah. So hopefully that's giving you something. And one last thing, this is just a little bit of a light-hearted thing. These so-called professors of the language, they should be able to apply what they're talking about. Most of the children in the class can rap, can use the words in a better way than the actual so-called professors. You know, they can't put words together in a certain way. They don't give you, they should have that skill. So I just do a little demonstration, right? Especially, Peter Piper pecked a peck of pickled pepper. A peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper pecked a peck of pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked? They should be able to do that, or even faster. Peter Piper peck a peck of pepper, a peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper pick. If Peter Piper peck a pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper pick? Or even faster. Peter Piper peck a pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper pick? If Peter Piper peck a pickled pepper, where's the peck of pickled pepper? Anyway, they do not demonstrate any skill on the language that they're supposed to be teaching. So I'll leave it with that anyway, yeah? So don't get penned in by the pen, because depending on your dependency on the pen, you can end up in the deep end. That's why media editing have no pen in front of us, so your eyes can be open. Thank you.
We thank you. We thank you, Brother Jammers. Oh, well. So
I don't really want to
go
go, but unfortunately.
let's go over to the chat and see if you've got any questions, any points, any comments in the chat for you.
Okay, quickly. I've got another 10 minutes, roughly 10 minutes, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So Dor L is in the house. Dor L is one of the
I need to share my contact details, especially with Dor L, because it's been running on me. So I don't know if you can share my mobile number that people can send me texts to. Yeah. Also, they can contact me on it's a long mastermind intelligence center gmail.com. You know, they can contact me.
So your email address is
Mastermind Intelligence Center with a RE, yeah, at gmail.com. Yeah, it's not ER, it's RE. Center is CE.
Okay. What you can do for me is just type it in the chat.
Yes, I'll do that before. Yeah, I'll do all that. Yeah, I'll do that. That's the best way. Yeah. And my phone number. Yeah. So I know you've been
any contact details, you know, so that
I'll put it in
can go on your mailing list for when your book is ready. You know, that would be great. That would be great. So Dora, lots of comments in here. Word is an image. Image has made it in. What's this? It's like it's a wizard. Image has Marge in it, and Marge is a wizard. So in the word image, M-A-G-E, is the word Marge, and Marge is a wizard.
Can I just add to that? Can I add to that? If you look at the word image, which I-M-A-G-E, and you reconfigure the coordinations of the word image, you get the word G-A-M-E, and before that, you've got the word I. It's a game on the I.
Oh, another one there.
That you put that image into action, you know. Boom. Anyway. Thank you.
Yeah, rise up, Sister Jammers. You've got to keep up with Brother Jammers. She's saying, Jammers, stop showing off. No, stop show off. No, I think that's a Peter Piper. Okay, Sister Anne's in the house, and she's saying, "Oh, what the pickle pepper?" Yeah, man, Jammers was showing off, reciting Peter pickled pepper. Fast, trust. That was off the hook. And,
I've got to go, but definitely we should do this again sooner rather than later. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll carry on. Thank you so much, Jammers.
Thanks,
remember,
Jammers. That was good. That was
very good. My coordinator, Edison. Edison, you take them on to the next level, yeah. But take
put your contact details in the chat, yeah. Jammers,
I'll do that
before you log on. Yeah, okay, thank you so much. Marie is saying she's seeing a couple, a vase, and an elder couple symbol on the ground. So she saw the couple. Did you actually see the guys that were playing the instrument as well? That was a really, really good picture, that one. Okay, Brother my brother Edison, there was just so much there that Jammers dropped before he ran off. One thing I wonder if you could just pick up on for us, and that is something that I always go on about as well, and it's the way that they have kind of transfixed our mind to get so excited about paper, you know, to the point where people are prepared to kill. They're prepared to sell their bodies, sell their soul, you know, do all kind of unimaginable things for colorful bits of paper.
It's something which, no, it's amazing, because it's something where you thought you went to school to learn what information they told you. You thought that they were concerned about what religion that you followed. The only thing they wanted you to actually learn from school was to worship and introduce the power of the paper, of the money. So throughout school, everything was paper, paper, and the concept of money was introduced to you at such a young age. So by the time you actually got to an adult, you were used to being able to read paper or whatever it was said. And if it was given to you by the right person, you would follow the instructions on the paper. Your whole education has been about following instructions on the paper. It's incredible how they've essentially created a piece of paper. And the joke we used to say is, how much does they've still got a £1 note, £1 note, £5 note, £20 note. And you've noticed, and then notice that when they changed all the different notes, only at that time did you appreciate that all the notes before that you had was just paper. Because now it's valueless. It's only now they decide that this is of value, because you've been conditioned as a child to only look forward to that paper. So they say they don't care what religion you follow, as long as you believe in the concept of money and authority. So it's been the reason you had education.
Their entire system is based on, you know, people having a love or a desire, you know, to earn that paper, you know, and the lengths that human beings are prepared to go to earn that paper. They die, you know, trying to earn that paper. Have we lost the plot? I mean,
no,
you know,
no.
What is the alternative? What can we do to switch that light bulb on in the minds of our people to make everyone realize that they've tricked us into thinking that there's nothing worthwhile in life if it isn't about that paper?
It's to do with value, your value. The first thing, when you see a little child bopping off to school when it's a tiny one at 5, at that age, it's full of life, full of interest, wants to learn. By the time it leaves at 18, it's miserable, it's kind of concerned, scared for its future. Over that whole period of time, it has had all these concepts introduced to say, if you don't pass this exam, if you don't have this, you don't have that, you're of no value. So the one denominator for everyone, so that they can have self-courage or self-value to themselves, they transferred it into the money. So that's why people, they're not buying any objects, they're making themselves feel better by the fact that they have that money or that value in their hand that is universally recognized. So it's really just about you thinking something of yourself, because you have figures in the bank. Because you know the irony, if you had 1,000 people here in a room, in a space, you'd feel the energy. But if I write 1000, there's no energy that is felt, but you have been trained to look on that image and feel elated, because we have now transferred the visual reality into something which is more convenient to put it on paper. And because you've been educated all of your life to read and respect what is on paper, now you're in a situation where you do as you've been told. We are not objects. You know where they say you've got free will, you've got free will to choose somebody else's choices. Yeah, you haven't got your own free will. From when you were young and from when you was in school, the whole concept was to give you an alternative personality to who you are. We say that you have,
Mm.
I'll mention it, an avatar consciousness, which is where the real you is the one who
Yeah.
allows you to see life, experience life, touch, feel. It's the real genius. It's the God per se within you. And then there's the next version, which is the avatar consciousness, which is the idea that was given to you as a child of who you are, your color, your gender, your country, whatever story they put to you, your family, and you have been trying to fix all of your life, the idea that they gave you of yourself as a child. That's why the money, that's why the status, that's why how you look is so important, because you don't control the standards by which you measure yourself upon.
I really like that concept about the real us and the avatar us, you know. And I was just visualizing that avatar on the relay track, you know, or on that slippery pole. So there's the real us that could be just enjoying life, as Jamison, he was just saying, you know, that just being at one with nature, enjoying the sun, the air, the sea, the sand, you know, the trees, the flowers. We could be at one with nature, just enjoying every day and everything that nature has to offer. You know, the beautiful vegetables and fruits of the garden of nature, and the joy that we could get from the animal kingdom and life itself. But then what they've done is they've indoctrinated us with these false concepts that we've taken on. And so this avatar us now is running after these false concepts that they have instilled in our mind. And there we are, instead of enjoying life, going up and down this slippery pole, you know, chasing a career, chasing the colorful bits of paper they call money, you know, living a life of hell and misery, you know, for the bits of paper. And there's that avatar us that's going to end up, you know, like flat on our backs, because, you know, we've exhausted ourselves running after, you know, that carrot that's going to be forever in front of our nose that we'll never be able to catch. Oh my gosh. You know, they've really locked us into this invisible prison, haven't they, where they've got us running, chasing our tails. Oh my days. But let's go back into that brain of ours from a spiritual perspective and see if you can cure us of this, you know, this poisoning.
In honesty, everyone chooses their poison. So regardless of what anyone says, the way in which the world or our minds have been built is to fight anything that doesn't fit in with what we've been told. We say that you can't see beyond what you believe. And people have been indoctrinated with all these concepts of who they are, how they are, what they should worship, what they should belong to, and made to feel guilty if they don't follow what everyone says outside. But the truth, and much of what you said now, is so funny and frightening at the same time, because when someone says you're the observer, you're the one who's, and we want to go back there beyond the story. You're the one who actually is looking at the world. You're the one who's actually observing everything you're experiencing. But the problem is, you're observing it from inside yourself. We'll go into it. You're not actually seeing anything outside, and we'll touch on it as much as people are comfortable on the concept of what is the hologram? What is the real world? What are we really looking at? Because what people perceive as science or spirituality is not about who and what you pray to. It's about how your essence copes with its understanding of itself in this reality. And the essence of what you are, the real observer of everything, the one who knows what is taking place and what isn't taking place on a creation level, is something that can't be harmed, can't be touched. The real you is an immortal. You'll live for as long as you're curious to understand what life is about. You'll jump into different avatars every so often so that you can collect the memory and the experience of living in this reality. But you're essentially going to be the one who is looking, creating, managing. We're going to try and go there as much as we can in the time we have. But I am one who, unfortunately, I'm not going to do the fancy the presentation like Jammers did, and I'm very
You do your
and
thing.
I was
You do
very
your
intent.
thing.
But we are going to try and go behind the scenes. So we want to set up the whole concept of language being the communication only within yourself. The
Wow.
irony
So
of it
we're going
is
in now. We're going in, within. Woo.
we're going, well, the only place is,
Go.
like I say,
Yeah.
we have on
Go
my
there.
website membership zone where we always like to do the spiritual side of things. So we got the spiritual side of narcissism, things on the avatar consciousness, sexual abuse, personalities, everything. We do everything. We say we want to come from the spiritual side so we can actually go behind the scenes of what you experience internally and what has been given to you as the framework for what you should look at. If we don't finish this today, because there's quite a bit I didn't realize till I got into it, we'll be doing it properly on our website in the membership zone. You can go to the website and organize, and we've got, I don't know, 10 or 12 or 15 different classes on different things, and this will be one of them, because I'll make it the one after next when it comes to the different classes. But let me see.
It's a taster. Oh,
Yeah, a taster, a
it's a
taster. But
taster.
and please, 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 like I said, if anything, can I share this? If I
Yes,
click,
go ahead.
there,
Yes.
if anything, how do we do this? Can you see me okay? Let's see, there's
Yep,
two
we
of
can see a
us.
lot of writing on your
You can
screen at
see
the
it.
moment.
Yes. All
It's
right, on the
small.
side. This is normally how we
Yeah.
do our classes. We always present it in a way where we go through different things. Too much to write every sentence, but we know where we're coming from or what we're trying to do. Yeah, but you can see me fine.
Right.
Everything is good.
Yes, yes, we're
All
seeing
right.
it.
Let's hope we go through all these subjects. The spiritual side of language, touch language. Yeah. So
Mhm.
everything you experience is based on your memory. Yeah, touching your memory and how it incorporates different sensations. So from when you're touching something, you're actually in a paradigm where if I put my hand on an object, I can recognize the object. I don't need to see it. My memory, my mind has a memory of that sensation. And as it touch the object, the actual image or the name for that sensation now appears in my mind. So I'll know that I'm touching wood and the image will come. So we literally have ways on which we communicate ourselves on everything. You do not touch something with your hand. Your hand merely sends information to your mind to become aware of what you're actually touching. If your memory, if your mind doesn't have a memory of that, you don't feel anything. You don't know what you're touching. So we always live in a world where the same thing with smell. You don't smell in your nose, you smell in your mind. You take in the information of the scent, and then your mind recognizes the scent and says, oh, I know what that is, and then goes on to repeat what it is. If it doesn't recognize the
Can I
scent,
ask questions as you go
please go
along?
ahead, go ahead. I
Okay,
can't
so
do this. Jammers
if
was great. He could just talk. I need the interaction. Go ahead.
so if I'm not smelling something, but what I think I'm smelling is then just going to my mind to tell me what that smell is. Are we all smelling the same thing sometimes?
No, no.
Yeah, because say for example, something's burning. We're all smelling that burning smell, aren't we? So
Only
are we
if,
not all smelling the same smell?
no, because we literally process everything. All of our minds are unique. Our experiences are unique. Our ancestors are different. Our ancestors provide all the information of what things appear like, smell like, hear everything. So our ancestors provide that. So first, everything in your mind is a database. So essentially, if you've smelt burning smells before, then you recognize it and say, oh, I used to live in North London and there's a Greek restaurant there, and they used to pump out this wonderful smell of the burning meats that they used to do. And you walk past and you say, oh, You smell the meat. You know exactly what you're smelling because you've
Yeah.
recognized it. You've done it before. So we're more going on recognition of information. That's what we're using on
Right,
everything.
because then I might go past and I'll think, what's that smell?
If you've never
Because I
smelled
don't
it before,
recognize it.
you don't
Yeah,
recognize it. So it's not going to
yeah.
impact you in
It's
the
not in
same
my
way.
database.
And if you've tasted it, that's how it goes on to the next one. If you've tasted the food, you don't taste in your mouth. Your mouth, with the receptors, takes the information, sends it up to your brain, and then your brain recognizes the, whatever you call it, taste pattern of that object or what you've just consumed. And then your mind says, oh, yeah, that's this meat, that thing, this thing. So we're constantly, all we're ever doing is using our senses and then passing it into our memory and seeing if we recognize it so we can articulate what we're actually experiencing. Yeah.
Mm.
The next
Mhm.
one, and one of the more profound ones, is audio languages. Because the old saying is you can't learn a language, you can only remember it. And it becomes a combination of a sound that someone makes and whether you have a corresponding image for that sound that you just heard. So as you're there in Gambia and people are speaking a language, you're going to probably be familiar with certain words and certain words you're not. So
Yeah.
someone could have said something rather provocative at you and you just sitting there blank because the sound doesn't match any image in your mind.
Mm.
Therefore,
Mm.
you don't react. You don't move. You don't, okay, this isn't nothing. So our
Mhm.
ears, oh God, should we go there? Should we go there into the whole sound wave that all you're ever been doing, all everyone has ever been doing is just sending out energy. Your spirit is radiating information to everyone around you. So people have the capacity through their senses to take the information, take it into their memory, and see if they can find a corresponding image with the way in which you've actually expressed yourself. So
I mean, what
audio,
if you're not one to see images? Because, I don't think I see images when I hear audio. I
okay,
think I hear the audio waves. So if someone's
okay,
talking another language, and I even recognize what they're saying, I think I hear what they're saying. I don't think I see what they're saying. But am
okay.
I? You're saying I'm seeing what they're saying?
No, well, let me put it this way. Because
Yeah.
again, it's something that happens so quick that we don't
Mm.
have time to recognize it. So when someone is trying to communicate with you, all they are really trying to do, and I know someone said the word image, yeah, and everyone has their break on it. And what the person said, I agree with the guy, is I magic. They say magic because in the old Bible story where Jesus was born, there was three magies. And they were the three wise men were also known as three magics. So what you
Oh,
do is essentially you conjure. A magician conjures. So whenever
uh-huh.
you hear a word, what you do is it invokes an image in your mind. You might not be aware that you're actually looking at it, but in order for you to understand what I say, you have to visualize what I say. You take the
Yeah.
word, you generate an image in your imagination, and as the person continuously speaks, you build on that image until you have literally like a mini movie inside your mind. Once you
Mm.
have that movie inside your mind, then you start to debate. Have I heard this before? Does this make sense? Where is this coming from? So we'll go
Mhm.
through those stages and show how at each time you are really interacting with images. The person, I'm transferring an image in my mind, and I want to say it in a way that I can build that same image in your mind. That really is what the art of communication is, sending across different ideas in hopefully words that you understand so you can build the image that I have in my mind. That's why people often say, depending on your learning style, because if you're audio like myself, I feel validated when I hear the words and create the image in my mind. So it's going to be the way in which you speak and the terms you use. And your jammers were saying it, the tone and the everything. That's going to tell me everything what you're trying to say. We say that the words give you the images, but the tone gives you the weather. You're seeing the image, but what the weather is like, is it hot? Is it cold? That will be all conveyed in the person's tone.
Mm.
Once you build that image inside your mind, then you have that conversation. That's when you're starting to debate what I'm saying. What do you think? How does it feel? And this is where we say that the ancestors come in.
Oh.
Because as you're debating that conversation in your mind, it takes two to tango. It takes two to debate. It takes two to actually, you'll have a voice within you say, well, why don't you ask that question? What does that mean? And you'll have different energies inside pulling you in different directions in that internal conversation that you're
So
having with
there's three of
yourself.
you having that conversation.
There's more
Yourself
than three
and
of
the
you.
two voices within. More.
The two or three voices within. Yeah, different personalities, different memories, different things that you've done. All of them are having that conversation with you simultaneously. That's why people
Wow.
hear something and can become
Well,
confused.
do women have more voices than men? So, for example, if you want to decide what you want to wear to go out, it's like, it's like, why we take longer to decide?
When you're talking, that's
Wear
our
that one.
whole.
No, wear that one. Wear that one.
No,
No, wear
that's
that one.
that's
This one
quite
too
funny.
short, that one too long.
Women, because of their nature,
Yeah.
and because they are one who likes to process as many options as possible, women can survive and thrive in chaos. Men, not so much. We need to come to a solution where women give solutions. They will pop up with all the different thoughts and the avenues and the ways that they see it. For me, I don't envy being a woman because I know for her, it's hard for her to settle her mind on any one direction or one thing. She is constantly being fed. She's a consummate actor or actress because she can't really show you everything she's thinking. She's only going to show you what seems acceptable. And she learns how to do that across the path of her life. But she could be having 10 different thoughts. Whereas when the gentleman is trying to get to one solution, narrow it down, the woman is trying to expand, and through her conversation, because she needs to talk in order to bring balance to her own mind.
Yeah, and the man doesn't want to hear the reasoning and the waiting and the rationale. Just give me the answer.
Well, he wants the answer.
Give us the solution.
The woman doesn't want the answer. She wants to be heard. She wants to express herself, and then she'll have peace. If you give her the answer too quickly, then she'll become upset because there'll still be versions of the story she hasn't given. She'll like, I haven't said this, I haven't said that. Why are you telling me your answer? So you have to let her finish everything she's got to say. And at the end, she'll say, what do you think? That's your time to say. Before then, you were just going to upset the apple cart and make not an enemy of herself, but you could bring her into a defensive personality that you did not want to see at that moment. And
so men need to learn to be good listeners around women.
They have to. They have to. If they're not good listeners, they're going to have an argumented life. That's really what it is. But yes, we're saying that you don't see with your eyes. You don't hear. I mean, you don't hear with your ears. You hear inside your mind. You take in the sound waves from the ears, and then you construct it into sound inside your mind. The hardest thing for people to comprehend is whenever we speak, we don't actually make any noise. You don't make no noise. What you do is propel information into the air, scattergun, and someone then takes the information, downloads it, and creates the sound inside their mind. I know that sounds hard, but if you've ever listened to a voice recording of yourself, do you sound like the voice recording? Not the sound that you hear in your head. That sounds something totally different. Because you're hearing it through.
I've never stopped to think about what the sound in my head sounds like.
This is where it gets fun, and it goes into the whole African drums, because you have an eardrum.
Yeah.
And when someone speaks, they're literally hitting drums on your ear. This sound wave actually creates a sound from the drum. The wave hits it, and it's like hitting a drum, and the drum makes the sound. So it's your eardrum that actually makes the sound, not yourself when you're speaking. You're really just transferring information. This is
And am
why
I transferring the sound that the eardrum is drumming as well?
you're
The tone.
taking, well, yeah, you take the tone or the sound, you transfer everything, and it creates a particular sound drum on your ear, which your mind then converts into the sound, but also picks the tone and also picks everything. And then, because the irony of it is, the whole point of a conversation, not only just to give you that information, you know, for you to be able to create it, it biochemically impacts you as well. So it gives you a feeling as well. That's why when we're feeling a certain way and we need someone with a bit of sugar in their mouth, we'll go to the person who's going to speak the best towards us. The person's whose tone of voice, when we hear it, it's going to change our biochemistry. It's going to make us feel more calm. It's going to make us feel more relaxed. So you
Yes,
feel
the
the
voice
words
has a
as
way
well.
of doing that. And nature is in there as well, because, you know, if you're a child, you sound like a child. And if you speak as an adult, you sound like an adult. You know,
Your tone does.
teenagers, young boys, they go through that stage where their voice starts to crack and
Exactly.
they've got two tones going on. So is that the voice box and
Well,
nature in there? And
this is the irony, because you, once you visualize what you're about to say, you then send the information down to your voice box. Your voice box then encodes a sound, which is then passed into your mouth. Now your tongue, which is the size, which is the shape of a flame, then actually propels what you are thinking and the information into the air around you, for someone then to be able to pick it up via their eardrum and then pass the sound into their mind to be able to authenticate and make sense of. But you notice if someone has no tongue, they can't speak, because they can't use their tongue to propel the sound. They can formulate the thoughts, they can use their mouth, but they can't actually utter any information from their mouth so that it can be picked up from someone else, by someone else. So this is why the changing of your voice box changes the tone, the information that is broadcasted. And the reason why you know that you only make sound and you create sound in your mind is from when you're asleep and nobody's in the room and there's no lights on and there's no sound. In your dream, you hear sounds and you see colors. Because the sound and the colors and the image, which we might get onto hopefully, is based on the hologram that you've created as an assimilation of all the information so that you can simplify it and create a format that you can see so you can work out what's taking place.
wow. I'll
Yeah.
try not to ask too many questions so
No,
that
it's
you can
okay. Go
get
ahead.
through.
I don't mind to be interrupted. I'm used to that
It's great.
because
I'm
someone
seeing
wants.
what I didn't see before. I'm hearing what I didn't know I was hearing, and you know, formulating images and speaking from a place I didn't realize I was speaking from so far. So, and this is all happening in my mind. This is all really
All the time.
interesting stuff.
All the time.
And I'm using wavelengths and radio waves and
All
all
of that.
sorts of energy lines. It's fascinating stuff. It really is.
It really is how we actually operate in this world, and why language essentially is the ultimate communication within us. Because even when you're asleep, hopefully we get to the end, I don't think we will, but when you're asleep, you're actually able to travel with your consciousness into different dimensions. Where you
Wow,
can go
wow.
into this
Is there a
dimension.
way of practicing ourselves? Is there a way of like controlling where we go before we go to sleep? And maybe even
It's,
controlling who we see. Can we travel and visit
well,
certain
it
ancestors
depends
or
100% where because of
Imagine.
what,
I'm going to
when
have a
you're thinking,
conversation with Marcus
well,
Garvey while I sleep.
well, if you want to, but Marcus Garvey, how would you say? Marcus Garvey would be operating in his own dimension with his own family. I've had many a time where people have said, can you connect me with people famous? And I said, why? And I said, because they have their own family, their own ancestral family, where they're doing what they're doing. The fact that you don't know how rich and grateful you are, how great you are, is why you would want to go somewhere else. But if you went to your own family and they started explaining who and what reality was, you'd be amazed, other than, unfortunately, entertained. Because many of us just want to be entertained in this world. We just want to see something. Sit at the feet of people that took more time to understand themselves than maybe we did. But we have all the knowledge that they have. You know, how do we say? Only a wise man can understand another wise man. So if you didn't have the understanding of Marcus Garvey already within you, what he said would not resonate.
Yeah. So we've got to go within our own ancestral line to find our greatness and to understand the greatness that lies within. Okay, I got you there.
Well, again,
don't go knocking on someone else's door.
No, don't knock on anyone else's door.
See what you got in your own family.
You've got so much within you that you haven't allowed to come out. And what we do, courses, classes, everything, is to get you out the way, or the idea of you out the way. So what's underneath that is bubbling to come up, that is giving you the curiosity to go and find out this information, is you already with that information wanting to become whole, wanting to become live, and creating that heavy sense of curiosity within you to want to do and be something else.
Imagine. And that's what education is supposed to do. The education is supposed to, you know, assist us to go within ourselves, to find that greatness that already lies within ourselves, and to bring that greatness out so that we can do something amazing, you know, here on this earth. But instead, you know, they lock us down, don't they? They shut the door to that greatness that lies within and give us a whole different concept and a whole bunch of distractions to have us running around in circles and not realizing our greatness.
What did Bob Marley say? Kill it before it grows.
That then do.
Kill it before it grows. Okay, then. Thinking is the way we debate. Hold on, let me go back a bit. We listen as opposed to hear, as we create the holograms in our mind. The holograms are the image. Now, a hologram, it sounds wild, but a hologram really is your way of understanding all the information that you've just downloaded from everything around you. So imagine sound waves when someone speaks. They are more denser. Everything is light, but it's a more denser form of light than when you visual light. Visual light is a lot less denser. So you see first, you hear second, you feel, you taste, you smell. And what your mind does is literally take all that information, then it builds a hologram of what you think is actually taking place when you see. There's this whole thing of whatever you're looking at now is the amalgamation of all the information that you've taken from your senses. You're always looking in the past, always. Now, the test that we used to do is like put your hand over the front of your head, over your eyebrows. If you're supposed to see from your eyebrows, if you cover, how can you see over your eyebrows when your eyebrows are supposed to protect your eyes? When you put your hand over your face, you can still see above where your hands are because you're not looking at an image in real time. You're looking at an image that you've already created. That's why when you put your hands across your face, you've already created the top and the sides and everywhere because you're now looking at an image that you've created. You've now created a hologram. Now, in that hologram that you're looking at, you can see about 1 million different things, but you're only focused on whatever you're focused on. All the rest exists. But until you say, I want to look at the laptop now, then everything else will disappear. It is the best way of putting the big picture. Whatever you're looking at is the big picture, and you focus or narrow in on whatever you want to focus in. So it's a way to have a bigger point of view in your mind at the same time. Now, the irony of everything is the hologram per se is just a simplification of information. Everyone has been taught that that's real. So what you're seeing, you're thinking, well, that's all real. That's all happening. That is what is taking place. Outside only takes place inside. What it looks
Now
like is outside.
you're really going somewhere else.
Going where it lives. Going where it
What do you
lives.
mean? We think
Going where it
what's
lives.
going on outside isn't really going on. It's outside. It's going on inside.
This is why we chase the music and chase the dreams, because we're not really understanding what is taking place within us. And this is why people don't believe they're great when they're the ones creating the hologram in their mind, which is really what they believe is their lives. Yeah.
Right.
So outside
Yeah.
is only taking place. If you look at a television and you can see in that television that in the yonder, miles away, images, but the TV is only so many centimeters thick. So there's nothing beyond there's nothing in reality beyond the inches of that TV. But your mind creates the idea of space.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing all the time. If you're ever looking at
it's like someone on the TV galloping on a horse, you know, going through a desert or a field, and it's as if you're on that horse going, you know, through that desert or that field on the horse with the person, but you're not, you're sitting in the seat in your front room or bedroom, wherever you are, watching that television. Yeah, but you created in your mind that you're on that horse.
So Sister Shanice, what is moving? When you're in a car going at 100 miles an hour, what is moving? You're sitting still. It's the car that's it's all the images around you that are moving. So what is moving is not you, it's your mind is moving.
Yeah.
The images
so
you're processing.
You know, it's like when you watch Olympics, you know, and there's somebody on the relay race, you know, or you're watching a horse, you bet on a horse, you know, and you can't sit there no more. Come on.
This is like you running a movie inside your mind. And you're literally thinking, because you actually believe that movie is real, so you're seeing everything take place. And you can actually, because you're the one who's actually, well, that's a whole next subject, but you're the one who's animating the information to turn it into a movie. The same way you're seeing a movie is done, filmed in real life, where they would just give still pictures. You're the one who speeds those images up to make it appear like they're moving continuous.
And this is how we're distracted, isn't it? These are the distractions that take us away from, you know, focusing on what's really important, you know, getting that understanding of the one within and the greatness of the one within. Wow.
We're going to go there because this is how the matrix is built. We might not get there, but we're going to try our best. And this shows you how this information is done. No, it's okay. It's all right. I understand. Thinking is a way to debate the holograms in our mind. So when someone speaks to you, you create an image. If I'm talking to you now and I say, I want you to create a dog, you'll say, what dog? A Labrador dog, a beige one. As I'm saying that, you're hearing my words and invoking that image in your mind. I said, I want it to be wet. Okay, you're seeing it wet. I want you to see it on the grass. You're seeing it on the grass. I want you to have a next building in front of it. Everything I say, you build the image to correspond with that. That's what our mind does. We're hologram builders in our minds all the time. And that dog that we're speaking of, it only exists in your head. No one else can see it, but you can see it because I asked you to see it when I asked you to hear what it is that I was saying. So whenever we're taking information from the environment that we're in, converting it into the hologram, then we then plan our next move. So you say, okay, I've got this information. That's what thinking is. Planning from the images that you have in your mind. What are you going to do next? based on our experience, as well as the conversation we're having inside ourselves, we decide on the next thing. Yeah, if you're going to go into a meeting, you're basically, before you go into the meeting, you're going to plan what you're going to say. You're going to plan the actor that you're going to become, and you're going to plan the script that you're going to use. And you're going to plan what your face is going to look like, how you're going to speak to that person. All of those things is what we're doing whilst we're thinking, and we're doing it in images. Yeah, we're seeing ourselves. We're knowing, okay, we're going to behave. If they look at us like this, we're going to behave like that. Yeah, we plan our future in our imagination, which is your image conjuring place in your mind, is where you conjure your images, is where you're going to decide on what you're going to do. Your visual calculations are done in your imagination. This is where you're doing it. This is where you're planning what you're going to next. And then after you've done that, after you've decided what I'm going to do, then you create a personality to manage what you're going to do with all the checkpoints. If he says this, I does that. He does this, he does that. She does this, I do that. You've literally then created someone to keep you on point. So when you veer off and start behaving in another way, you've already created someone in your mind to say, hold on, we didn't agree to that. You're going to do this, or you're going to wait for that. And someone to tell you when you messed up. Oh, man, I wasn't meant to say that. I was meant to say this, showing that you've been working from a script where you created a personality to manage what you're about to do and organize your decisions.
Wow.
Okay.
And so this is where we've got to learn to take control of our thoughts and the images that we create in our minds and the personality and the way that we're saying that we're going to be communicating. We've got to take back that control because, you know, without realizing it, those scripts have already been written for us in the studies that we've been doing, the courseworks that we've been doing, the education that we have received has basically told us, you know, how we ought to behave in certain situations. And, you know, so if you go for an interview, this is how you conduct yourself. These are the sorts of questions and these are the sorts of answers that would be expected. And so we've already been conditioned, haven't we?
Programmed. That's what it is.
Yeah, we've been programmed.
Everyone tells you what's acceptable. Someone tells you this is acceptable, this isn't acceptable. So you run that program that you've been given. That's the software.
And so that's all that we're doing in our mind. We're just preparing the programs to run the programs that we've been given. But, you know, we have to deprogram our minds now. If we're going to become the great ones, if we're going to, you know, manifest that which we have been sent here to manifest, to create, to do, to deliver, you know, while we're here, we're going to have to somehow deprogram our minds, have we not?
Well, Shanice, teachers are software mental engineers.
Oh, hey,
And all the
software
teacher
mentor
is
engineers.
that's what a teacher is doing, is basically providing software to now organize your mind. So when we then grow up as adults, we have been programmed from the software engineers, giving us programs on how to conduct ourselves. And when we speak of the matrix, yeah, the matrix is just the information and filters given for you to design the hologram in your mind. They give you the framework. They'll tell you your name, your personality, this area is called this country is called that, this is how you should conduct yourself. So you then create what you've been told to create. They gave you the format. They gave you the names behind the images. They told you a doctor wears the white coat, that the policeman wears the uniform, that the nurse dresses up in either blue or white, depending on what grade she is. All of these programs were given to you as a child. So when you saw these images, you already knew the name of the person and what they looked like. So they gave you a whole, this is it, you're going to stay till school to this age, then you're going to get into a job, then you're going to do this, then you're going to do that. And your disappointments in life is when you haven't fulfilled the software program that was given to you. And for a certain age at a certain time, you're supposed to be doing this, you're supposed to be doing that. But where did all these ideas come from? Because it might not be your nature to do those things.
That's it. And this, hologram, this whole kind of world view that we have been given is the Eurocentric worldview, because we've been indoctrinated and educated with the Eurocentric software, haven't we? And we've been programmed to see the world from a Eurocentric perspective. And so here we are now as adults looking at this Eurocentric worldview, and it's like, hang on a minute, where do I fit into this? This isn't really my worldview, what I want. I'm just an actor in all of this. I want to be me, And then it's like, hang on, who am I? No one's like,
exactly.
No one's tapped into who I really am. I've been hogging up this whole discussion.
No, it's okay.
We've got an audience out there. Let's bring them in. Diosa, welcome, our ancestors, right? What is your own idea? Yeah, what's our own idea? Dora now is saying, Molifi Kite quote by, all knowledge is political, not because it may have political consequences or be politically useful, but because knowledge has its conditions of possibility in power relations. That is deep. Let me hear your comments on that, please, Edison.
It depends how you perceive political, but if I may go back a little bit.
Yes.
Part of your decision making and the conversation is based on the wisdom of the ancestors that are within you, because they're the ones that are going to give you that advice to say, I don't think it's a good idea to do that. I don't think it's the good idea to do this. And when you're having those moments where you said, I was told and I didn't listen, these are where they're part of the conversations that you're having within your mind. So if you can trust yourself and trust those conversations, and when you have that information presented to you, then you can walk with their eyes. You can walk with their understanding of events that take place, because there's a whole next conversation based on how a baby is born with everything it needs to know and everything it's going to do. How could a baby be born with everything it needs if it didn't know where it was going?
Yeah.
So therefore, everything you're looking at now has already taken place in part of your mind, and you're literally traveling through the script that you created or was created for you when you came to this world. So therefore, political, when you're speaking of political and all those different concepts, they are always unique to the land that they've been created. Certain places, they don't have such hard
change it. Sorry to say that all knowledge is, today, all knowledge is Eurocentric. And
again, it
may have consequences for us. It may not be useful for us. And it has conditions attached to it because, there are the power dynamics in there. They want to make sure that they hold the wheel of power and we don't.
It's a very funny one, because if you go back in history, then Europe was a child when the Africans were still civil servants and every different thing was created. So who is really the parent and who is the child? If I own the pen, as Jammers can say, I can change history to suit myself. And I can write myself into history where I wasn't there. And therefore, it's not the original thing. It's maybe the perversion so that a few people can have control. And the whole reason of education wasn't to make you smarter, was really to give you the information of how they wanted you to build a world. There was no interest in how great you was or how great you weren't. And this is where we get to it. Language is so important, because what happens is you only see what you believe. So if I give you all your beliefs, yeah, exactly. If I give you all your beliefs, you can't see beyond that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. And they've given us limited beliefs in their system. This is what their system has been designed to do, to create that picture, that worldview in our mind that limits, our vision and our perception of who we are and what we can achieve, because they've written themselves into this image, this script in our mind to be so great and so awesome. And here we are, in that same script, insignificant, ones and insignificant beings. It's like, how can we see ourselves as significant if we have been trained to see ourselves as insignificant? And
thank
as Dave
you.
said, they control the pen, and they are the authors who have written the script that we are playing out. Oh my gosh. And this is
It's
how they've created an illusionary world, haven't they? And here we
100%.
are. Yeah. And
Sister
there's that.
Sanish, let's go a little bit further, because you can only see what you're able to name. If you ever look, when's the last time you saw something that you didn't know the name of? I only say that in reference to, if you can only speak my language, you can only see what words that you know. So there could be
Mm,
energies walking around that you can't see because you can't label them in your language. So eventually, based on the limitations of the language, it blinds you from what's really taking place around you. And that's why a little child can see grandma, can see grandfather, can see different energies working around, because they haven't lost the capacity to think in their own language. They
mm,
still have the capacity to see objects, things all around them, because they have not had it drummed out of them yet. There's a really powerful thing where, if I ask you to read something, I could have you look at the word and I say, don't pronounce the word. If you don't pronounce the word, no image will come up in your mind. You can look all day. You literally sound out everything you say. And as you sound out everything you say, the image is invoked in your mind. You only see when you speak inside to what it is that you see written down. And then an image pops up. So therefore, after a while, if I teach you to read and write, you can only see what words I've given you to use and what I've told you that they are. So over a period of time, I can blind you from removing your original language from you. So now you can only see in the language you've been taught, and you can't see what we say next, where our language filters, our capacity to see spirits and portals have gone. Our mind is now, the language is now an actual religion, because it binds you to what the words of the language actually says. This is how deep it goes. This is why they want to teach children to read and write and take them away from their parents at such a young age that the parents don't have a chance to influence them with an alternative way of seeing things.
yeah, yeah,
So when you
right.
say we're going to break out and become something else, we can't use another man's weapon to fight
Yeah.
against him when he gave us that weapon. We have inbuilt in us a sense of fear of authority based on the education system we've been given. And this sense of authority is at a body command level, where if you hear certain words, it can shut you down. Certain concepts can shut you down. So therefore, the program, because language is a program. When I say software, software is to operate the machine. So the language is now been written where some people say certain words and your body then feels emotions to correspond with that. We didn't have time. Well, like I said, if I went into the whole concept of how it is you create a feeling, after you've had that debate for your next move, your body then creates a conclusion. So you have a debate, you have you come to a conclusion, then you create an emotion that is control from your pituitary gland, and then your body is flooded with a feeling. So if you
Mm,
dislike something, you then create the feeling of dislike in your whole body. If you enjoy something, then you create the sensation of enjoying something throughout your whole body. You literally are the controller. You're the one who creates every feeling, sensation, emotion,
Yeah.
but you're not doing it in your own language, which means your mind has been taken over and you're doing it under someone else's standards. So it's not even your standards that's decided. You could go somewhere and do something and feel disappointed because you didn't meet the standards of those who control that event, whereas you did the best that you can. And this is one of the biggest killers. Yeah, because we're going to do about it in another class. I think the next one, the broken man, the broken
Wow,
person,
yes.
when that event takes place in your life where you
Yeah.
feel you can't do enough.
Because the bar has been set so high, but then you're not being given, you know,
There's no
the
way. You
silver
don't choose
bullet.
what is, you don't choose the bar. So as a
Yeah.
result, you then choose failure. And
Yeah.
the
Oh, that's
concept
so
of failure
criminal, isn't it?
is
Yeah.
very nasty chemical that you then put into your body. And it literally
Yeah.
paralyzes you. And the fear of failure prevents you from
Yeah.
trying. That's why
Yeah.
it's so powerful to teach you
Fear is
you're nothing.
powerful. Yes, yeah. Oh, there's so much wrapped in that, but I really want to bring in some of the comments
Go ahead.
from our family members. So let's just jump in here. Mondele says, Kridos, okay, speaking to brother Abanji there. Let's see what this one says. Sister Anne says, the ability to heal dominant aspects of your mind and body. The language used to create the hologram has a way to simplify all the information gathered by your senses. So the ability to heal dormant aspects of your mind and body, the language used to create the hologram as a way to simplify all the information gathered by your senses. I think that must be a continuation of something we were saying before. Let's just go back a bit.
Yeah, that's all right.
Sorry, let me just
I
quickly go here.
understand the question. I understand the
Yeah.
question. I understand.
I'll just add this. Our real self speaks to our organs and
Yes,
runs the programs that tell our body what to do and when to do it. We
that's
have
right.
been taught to believe our avatar consciousness is us. We speak thousands of languages as our real self speaks to every one of the 50 trillion cells in our body. The importance of speaking your own spiritual language. Okay, I need you to elaborate on this. We speak thousands of language.
Yeah,
Our real self is able to speak thousands of language. We speak to our
100%.
organs, you know, we can control our organs, you know.
Mhm.
Come on, rise up for those points there,
Look,
yes,
the thing is,
mm.
each one of your organs has its own unique name. My heart is not called your heart. Your heart is called, we use the term, but the actual intelligence that is more complicated than any train station in the world with all the capillaries and all that is in a living independence, intelligent by itself. We don't know how it works. As the avatar consciousness, you cannot speak to your heart. You cannot speak to your organs because your mind has been created to live in the matrix. Now, in order to observe something, you must be somewhere else. So the real you is not engaged in your body in the same way that the avatar consciousness is. The real you is the one that's pulling the strings. It's the one that's making your body move. It's the one that's churning out everything and speaking and having a whole council of different intelligences within you. You're not an individual. You're a community of 50 trillion people. Every cell is a living, independent being of its own, living its own life with its own purpose. We won't go into the whole concept of your body could be running a similar matrix to what is taking place outside of your body. That's a whole nother class. But essentially,
Hey.
your body, so there, effectively, your body there's the higher intelligence in you, the one that, as that lady said, speaks the language that creates a hologram, because there is a language, an intelligence within you that knows to take that information and then create the hologram in your mind.
Just imagine if we knew how to tap into those
there's
50 million.
meditations that can do that. There's meditations can do that.
This is it, when you can get into different states, like the alpha state, the beta
No,
state.
no, none of that. None of that. We don't do any of that. Look, every time you speak to somebody.
Why don't we do the easy thing? We just ask the ancestors, the spiritual side, to tell us.
This is how I learned them myself, from speaking
like,
to my ancestors.
You inside there. Can't help me speak Mandinka.
The thing is, when I say you speak thousands of languages, your language, any language that you've been taught, is an agreement amongst different people. But the planet of your origin.
Been taught a language.
No, you have it within you. You have your own language within you. It's something we do on our courses, where we literally remind you. So within about an hour, you find people fluently speaking their original language. It's a part of the readings I think we do as well. We can actually, within a reading, show you how you speak your own language and do all of that. It's something which, again,
so people wanted to do your course, Brother Edison, you know, to get inside of themselves and learn much more about who they are. Can you let them know how they can get in touch, or just remind them of the web address, etc.?
Yeah, this is it. The web address is www.ancestralessence.com. They can go there, and like I said, we're eventually going to do this class, in about a month's time, because the next one is the broken self. But we'll go into it. Like, I've really just skimmed the surface today. I've really just touched on it as briefly as I can, but we'll explain how the hologram does this, what it is you see, how it is you have a 7 seconds, they said, 7 seconds delay. It's more than that, to be fair, but that's what science has proven. By the time you hear something and create the image in your mind, there's a delay of so much time, because that's the time it takes to process the image and create a hologram, so that you more create an image from what you hear than listen to it. It's just invoking or conjuring the information. So if they come to the website, it's self-explanatory. It's got courses, it's got spiritual counseling, because we do that as well for people that don't have the patience for the course, because it's dealing with other people and they want to do it for themselves. We can design a bespoke course for you, where we can show you what it is that we do, and then ask you, to take you through all the different stages, because we've got things like, we teach you how to make the oils that we sell on this site, on our site, because we have a site, but we teach you how to make these oils yourself, so you can use your own language to be able to create information that your ancestors have given you and put it into something that you can put on yourself to protect yourself. There's so many different aspects of how this information is all within you. You just have to be slowed down to have the patience to hear it. And we try and tell you what is possible within you, because the aim for us always is to empower you, not to empower some god or idea or concept, but empower you to have all that dormant, latent power that is used to play in the illusion of the matrix, to be able to step out of the matrix, see it as the game that it is, and you bring on yourself, so you can travel to these other dimensions in your waking state or in your controlled conscious state. It doesn't need you to go into a trance or do this. Some people do that. I ain't knocking it, but we don't need to do that, and we don't need to take any drugs to stimulate us to actually go there. All of that is within you. Once you make that proper connection to your ancestors, it's like the story of, how do you say, when you were born, your parents were waiting for you. When you transition, your ancestral parents will be waiting for you.
Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. We're going to have to leave it there. We're actually
no problem.
At the top of the hour. I'm going to leave you with this one. And I'd love, the next time you come back, to start with this. And this man, Mahari, it would have been great for her to be sitting alongside you, to put some of these points to you directly. Next time I'll post the link so people can jump on and join us if they choose to.
If she goes to our website, she can leave a inquiry note and leave her details, and then we can contact her and go through as much as we can with her without the form up. But she can always book a reading, and then we can go through the whole conversation, or just go and join our membership site. And then once you're there, then you can leave
down that
information there.
with you on this. She says, we have been restricted to be only able to see what we can name. Our language filters our capacity to see spirits and portals. Oh my days, I need to be able, no, I don't even know if I want to see spirits actually. I was going to say I wouldn't mind, but I don't know about that one there. Anyway, family, thank you so much for tuning in. Brother Edison, as always, I mean, it's just so fascinating listening to you. And family, I think, you know, from the taste that we've had today, I have to wholeheartedly endorse the courses. I think we all need to start going within so that we can begin to manifest outside of ourselves. That's what we really have inside of ourselves. Thank you, Brother Edison. In
no problem.
The absence of Brother Jammers, we thank Brother Jammers so much as well for the first part of the show. In fact, as most of you know, I'm actually in the Gambia. There's been quite a lot that's been happening. A lot of this said about what's been going on here in the Gambia. I'm going to be going live on Sunday at about 8:30. Brother Jammer said he'll join me as well. And we're going to, you know, talk a bit about some of the things that's been going on, but from a slightly different perspective. And that should be interesting. So family, if you're available, make a note in your diary. Log on 8:30 Sunday evening, join me live, you know, and let's put into perspective the Gambia. There have been a number of YouTube channels that have, I think, you know, generated a lot of fear, put out a lot of misinformation, and they haven't really been checking on the ground about what's going on. So tune in 8:30 on Sunday, and let's have that bit of a conversation, okay? So once again, Brother Edison, as always, you're an absolute treasure, a real gold mine of information and knowledge. And family, if you want to tap into some of that knowledge of self, do go over to the Ancestral Essence website.
Yes.
Okay. Post the details under the this video as well, would you please? And if you haven't given us a thumbs up, please do, family. Give us a thumbs up. We're not asking you to pay. Just give us a thumbs up. Much love and much respect to each and every one of you. Sister Shanice, out of here for now. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Comments and everything.